Hello, Gareth here, and we're going to paint a snow scene. So this is part 3. In part 1 we basically did some playing around with the cat's tongue brush and got used to this really good brush. It's also called a pointed oval, so that was fun. In the second part we had a go at painting this scene. And now in the third part we're going to change this into a snow scene, and we're going to add this beautiful sky which I saw about 2 days ago. We're going to add this sky. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing we're going to do is basically the sky. Now I haven't got a pencil around me, but you might want to draw a line about here, maybe about here, where the horizon is going to be. So I have no pen, so I'm just gonna imagine. So about here the sky will end. Okay, so let's begin. So the first thing is, let's just add some water here, and then some yellow ochre. I'm using just 4 colors and 2 brushes, and here put in that yellow ochre, and because I wet the paper it looks soft, and I might make it a bit stronger around here. And then just really wet my brush and just soften all of this. Okay, then I'm going to get some pure blue, and here I should clean this really. It might get a bit contaminated if I'm not careful. Okay, we're safe. And then I'm going to add this here and then have it slowly come into here. And if I can leave little white bits in here that suggest clouds, that would be nice too. Okay, and then down here it's much lighter. Okay, I think that's good. And now over here we've got a grey mix, so it's blue with a little touch of red. In fact, that will do maybe to begin with. And I need to put this in fairly quickly before this yellow dries out. Oh, and I've gone too far down. My sky should end here. So that's why it is probably a good idea to have a pencil and just draw the horizon line so you don't make the mistake that I made. But that's kind of good, having a smallish sky area, or a smaller sky area, because this brush is a bit too small for this kind of space. So if you find it's drying out too quickly, then probably you need a bigger brush so you can cover space quicker. Okay, and now I'm going to really make this darker and punchier. So I'm mixing all 3 colours: cobalt blue, alizarin crimson and yellow ochre. Yeah. So I'm really enjoying using this brush. There we go. That will do. I don't think it's quite as good as my original one, but there you go. Make that a bit milder. Okay, and then here I'm going to go even stronger and maybe a bit grayer. Add some more yellow ochre, add a bit more red, so it's got them really grey now. You see that? And I think just going to add that in there like that. Yeah, a few days ago it was snowing, and I saw this beautiful sky like this. Half the sky was a lovely blue, and the other half was this dark grey cloud. It's just beautiful, and the light coming out from the cloud. Okay, and then the next bit, so this is where you have to be a bit brave. Get some tissue, and we're just going to wipe out here. So this is the sun coming out, but do turn this piece of tissue so that you're not putting the paint that you've taken out and that's now on the tissue, you're not putting it back onto the paper and making it dirty. Okay, it's not too bad. Yeah. And I might do a little bit of an outline, rim lighting, so fold this tissue until you get a lovely thin hard corner like that. And then timing is a big thing. If you leave it too late, then you're going to get nothing. If you do it too soon, this line will just disappear. I'm possibly doing it too soon, I think, but there you go. Oh yeah, so that looks pretty nice. And then maybe there's a mountain in the distance, so we need a real thick mix so that it doesn't just disappear. And we're going to do this mountain in the distance. Blue, red, yellow ochre. It's going to be quite grey. And then here we go, it's going to be like disappearing into this cloud. And this is actually what I did see from outside my house yesterday. But I screwed up here with the horizon line. I went down too low, and now I've got to kind of fix that, level it out. So here's one mountain here. That looks way too strong. And then here's the other one disappearing into the cloud, hopefully. Yeah, it's too strong, but I'm going to go with it. I could wipe it out, but I could possibly do that and maybe even do it okay. But I think just doing this really dark background mountain might actually look good. You know, sometimes it's worth just seeing how it turns out, and sometimes when you overdo things in watercolor it can look good. And do remember, when it dries out it will be fainter. It loses some of its power as it dries out. Okay, that I'm quite happy with that. Now I'm going to have like some borders for fields, maybe here and one here, and then a riverbank here, water here, and then here I'm going to have the shore. Now I really should have a pencil, but can't find it. So I think I'm going to start with, I've got this grey mix from the sky with where the riverbank should be, because this is the thing I keep messing up. In this painting I did the sky too large, and so I didn't have enough room for a river at the bottom, so I don't want to repeat that mistake. So it's going to go here, the light's coming, hitting here, and then lower down, maybe a little bit of dark, like that. This is just guessing. I'm just imagining what this might look like. And then let's do our water, and just a bit of blue, and it's going to come here, and this is going to define the foreground bank. And that water doesn't look very natural, does it? It looks too blue. So I'm just having to think about that. I'm going to have it getting a bit darker. Okay. And I want it mixing in with this bank. Ah, but that's not looking too bad, is it? Okay, I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, maybe here there's just going to be, on this foreground bank, just a few little grey marks that kind of bleed into this. It joins it together. It's very important to unify the painting. Yeah, that will do. Minimalist. Okay, and then there's some kind of border here, some kind of field or something, and then another one over here which is even thinner, like that. And then I think that's really about it. Just maybe need to let this dry. Maybe a few very light touches here. Yeah, I think that will do. Okay, it has now dried, and let's continue. So in the second wash we're going to do these fir trees. We're going to do this tree here. We might do this background with these trees in it, and a big tree in the foreground. So quite a lot, and we'll be using this pointed oval brush. So I think first of all I'm going to begin with those fir trees. And I want to make them a little bit more irregular. And I might even use, oh, I've got hair there. I was going to use some yellow, but I'm not sure yet. Okay. Yeah, maybe that kind of green is good. A dark grey green. Yeah, quite like that. So, going to use that. And here we go. Let's see how this works. Just get rid of the excess water. It'll help to make it or give me more of a dry brush effect. So the first one is going to be maybe quite high, and then the other one a bit lower, and maybe begin here. I think this is a lovely brush for painting fir trees. And then I'm going to stop there because I want it to be darker lower down. So I'm going to make another mix for that. Here's my other tree. Okay, and then let's go darker. So a lot of blue, some red, a real strong purple mix. I'll add a little bit of that, and then here we go. Bit more of a dry brush effect I want. So wipe my brush on the rag, and then the light's coming this way, so this side is going to be a bit darker. There we go, and then do this one. Okay, that will do. It's quite nice. And then let's do some shadows. Okay, so they'll be light purple, so using this will be okay. Add a little bit of red, and there's one shadow, and then add one more. It's important to get the angles synchronized, matching. And at the end here, it should be a bit fainter, so pure water, and just soften that. And the same with this one, pure water. I also wipe my brush on the rag so it's not super wet. Have another go. Yeah, I think that's looking quite good. Yeah, I quite like that. And then let's do some tree here. Oh, and I might do some trees in the distance. A little bit of courage now. It might not work, so dry brush, well, might have a bit of a touch of dry brush as well. And hopefully this is going to be a bit more of a watery mix, fainter, because it's in the distance. Might have trees coming up like that. I'm trying to paint this loosely. Okay, there we go, like that. Yeah, quite happy with that. Okay. Yeah, that I perhaps should just leave it like that. I mean, that's a nice painting, and if you want to, you can leave it just there, and maybe that's enough. So I'm going to do a tree here though, and I'm using my liner brush for that. So just use some of this mix. Oop, get the hairs together. Maybe do it about here. And then this is when I go crazy. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, now it's okay. Okay, there we go. Well, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think I'm going to get away with that. Yeah, it's quite a nice looking tree. Yeah, it's a bit hopefully nobody's going to see that. Using my finger like an eraser. It's very useful for that. Yeah, I think make that a bit thicker. I think that kind of works. There's a few lines that look a bit too horizontal, but there you go. But I'm quite happy with that. And then get this brush and yeah, can I get rid of them? I might be able to get rid of them in a minute, so let's first of all do this though. Get my blue, cobalt blue. I don't recommend cobalt blue, I'm only using it because I've run out of phthalo blue. I like phthalo blue, but ultramarine blue is also okay. I picked phthalo blue because it's powerful and it's cheap and it's a permanent watercolor. So I'm trying to make a brown here, so I'm using a lot of red, a lot of yellow ochre and a touch of blue. That's too brown, needs to be darker and darker. And should I put my tree there? Not sure. I think that might be a bit too much, but okay, I'm going to try. You do need, if possible, to be bold in your watercolor painting, but I'm not always. Maybe most of the time. But if you can, like when you look at the boldness of these marks against that soft sky, it's those kind of effects that you really want to achieve. Look so beautiful. I guess it's a bit of both. There's a kind of, you need this balance of delicacy and boldness. And I think that's enough. I know as soon as I say that I'm going to add something else. Okay, and it'd be nice to have a bit of shadow on that, but there's only going to be a tiny bit there. What I might do is a few grass hairs, some yellow ochre. I'm not sure if this is going to look too much. Look like too much. Or stick out too much. And then let's do a purple, a blue and a red. And then have a little bit of shadow here. Yeah. And might do a few tiny twigs. There. Did I make it better or worse? Okay, I think that will do. And I think that's it. I might just, oh yeah, maybe a few marks here. So I do some long ones and some short ones. Like that. Okay, and just a few minor corrections here. Possibly I can get away with it. On this tree there's a few lines that look very horizontal, so pure water, and hopefully I might be able to just erase some of these. I've never done this before. I just want to stop these horizontal looking lines. Oh, did you see that? That disappeared there. Let's try here. Oh, it's disappearing, it's going. Okay, maybe not quite enough. So let's try and get rid of that. So they say in watercolor that one of the most difficult things about the medium is that when you paint something, that's it. It's there for good. So you can't correct it, and you can't erase it or paint over it. But that isn't exactly the full story. Now it is true that this is quite light anyway, so erasing it is not quite so difficult. If it had been a real thick, dark, strong staining colour, then it might be a bit of a different story. But even with that, it's quite amazing what you can do. I should have shown a video I did once, but I didn't have the courage to show it. And basically I painted a tree, and it was not a very good tree, and I just wiped the whole lot out and started again, and it looked a lot better the second time, and you just couldn't tell there'd been another tree there. So it's quite remarkable what you can actually really get away with watercolor. I'm not saying that some of the rules aren't true, but I don't know. I think it's well, maybe I do, or I have my own opinions now though, and one of them is like to break the rules. And really, it's really to mess around, experiment, and have fun is so important, and that the mistakes, not to let them get you down, because you really will learn from them. Anyway, too much preaching. So, oh, this tree, look what I forgot to do. It needs a shadow. There we go. And I could soften that just with my finger like that. And I think that's it. We've done it. Now I know it's very simple, but I do think it looks quite beautiful. So have a go and have some fun. And a like would be much appreciated. And if you're not subscribed, then please subscribe. And if you really appreciate these videos, then I've got a 2-brush course and a 3-brush course that are very thorough. They are paid courses, but if you did them, then it will really improve your abilities, and I'll be very grateful too. And I've also got a 1-brush course that's very, very thorough, very helpful, and that's completely free. So hopefully I'll remember to put the links in below. So that's all. Have a great day and happy painting. Bye.